Hello everyone, it's Sloth today with Golgari Control, everyone's favorite deck that you all love and want on the channel. And I definitely wanted to play Golgari. I decided that today is the day that we need to get back into the roots, the death roots of Golgari. That was a great joke to start this video. The deck will be better than the jokes, so stay tuned. So, with that being said, we definitely have a very interesting twist with the deck. We'll talk about it more in the deck intro. We played some games, we won 3 of them, we lost 1 of them. And what is interesting about those stats? I would definitely say that we were on the horrible side of the draws in this deck. Like, honestly, some of the draws that we had today with the deck on the ladder were like borderline conceit worthy. And we still went with 75%, and I actually ranked in Diamond with this one. So definitely shows how big of a powerhouse Golgari right now is, and it definitely works very well against aggressive board because of ramping, meathook and Culling Ritual. Alright, and this is the deck. So it is in the core, the good old Golgari control. So you know the drill. But we have interesting twist that I actually didn't found before, and it makes perfect sense when you think about it right now. Tenacious Underdog is basically the perfect card for the deck, because what is Tenacious Underdog? Mana sink that gives you cards, and with Golgari you always have so much mana. It also makes the deck much more aggressive, which ends in basically faster kills, because you can do a lot of direct damage with Invoke Despair. And when you start game with Tenacious Underdog, then you go for Blitz, you have Meathook Massacre on the board, suddenly you can kill enemy very quickly with this deck, and you have ways to get back Invoke Despair. Oh boy, you have so many ways. So of course you have Harness Infinity, very interesting card, definitely your end game like Gambit thing. When you play it, you just basically win if the enemy cannot answer it in some smart way. And the good old Shigeki. So this is the slower way to draw cards, but honestly, with all the RAM that we have in the deck, it's so easy to get like 2 or 3 Invoke Despairs, and I really like the fact that with Invoke Despairs, when you get not many cards, because it's hard for sometimes to get Shigeki for like 5 or something crazy like this. Of course you can, but it's generally extremely late game. Much more situational thing is when you go for 2 or 3 cards, and then double invoke is good enough. Like, it answers everything, it gives you card advantage, and given you have 3 Shigekis, you will probably draw into either another Invoke Despair, Harness Infinity or Shigeki. So in the end you probably get something out of this. Worst case, I guess you can go for the Soul Transfer, and honorable mention in this deck as well, you can get back a creature card from your graveyard. So it's basically a mini combo with the Shigeki, and you can get back Soul Transfer, of course, from the graveyard. So you can loop them if you have those 2 cards. So this is basically a removal, and this is also in a way perfect card for the deck. It is a bit slow, but it has so many upsides that I think in Golgari it really can work and shine like in no other deck. We have Celestus, only 1, but this is card that usually stays for the full game, so I don't have much trouble with this one. And Meathook Massacre as well usually stays for the full game, so you have very often this activated. What it does, it gives you basically 2 for 1 at start, and when you can get back Shigeki and also answer enemy like main drop, and on top of this exile it, which makes a big difference very often. In one of the games you will see that exile was actually much superior than the other, like direct removal. Like, having Shigeki back for only 3 mana is so great. And the biggest twist of all, can you spot the imposter? Yes, it's Valki. You aren't wrong. We only have 1 Valki, or the Tibalt, should I say, because basically Valki in this deck is Tibalt. And for this reason we have Celestus, because this gives every mana, and I like the twist of this one single card that completely can change a lot of matchups, because normally, as you remember from different versions of this deck, you do have double lands. The snow version, like comes tapped, doesn't have cycling, and we don't have any use for snow synergies, right? So it's basically a worse Triumph. So in the end you play with Triumphs, and you don't have any use for the red mana basically. Not anymore, you can actually use it. So we have 4 red mana sources, and that's completely good enough, especially with Dig Up, that you can... Okay, it's basic that, but you can go for the, 4 mana cliff thing, but in reality you always have some red mana, usually thanks to Zayatora, because it's just, at some point you get it. We also have 2 pathways, but honestly, if you don't have them, I wouldn't sweat about it. I think you can just get different lands just to have, the mana base. Just remember, with every Invoke Despair deck, you generally want more black than the green one, right? So go for the right ratio. But yeah, that's the idea. And what more? Not only you have this one card, but with Dig Up you actually have 3 copies of Tibalt in a way. You can get him back with Harness Infinity. You can get him back with Soul Transfer, because it can return also a Planewalker. So in a way you have so many ways to get it back. Even though it's just one card, it completely can transform the deck, especially in some matchups that aren't like against blue. Because as a blue deck, of course, they can just negate it, and it really hurts. But you can still get it back from the graveyard and force another negate and another negate. So even then, it's still relevant. But of course, you want to cast it as a big finisher, and let's be honest, it's much bigger finisher than even the Invoke Despair. Like when you have Tibalt in the board for 2 turns, you basically won the game. With Invoke Despair, sometimes enemy can keep up with the value, especially if your top decks aren't great. And this brings me to another important thing. Celestus is really great at fixing your draws, which I like. You will see in the games, like the amount of wrong draws that I'm getting lately is just insane, and I really like Celestus for this reason. I feel that with Celestus on the board, you always are consistent with how you play. And that cannot be said for a lot of other cards. And of course, with Tenacious Underdog, we can fix a lot of things. Just we go into more aggressive direction, right? So we draw cards by paying life. This is something important against aggressive matchups, I guess. So something to be careful of. We also go more aggressive on the Infernal Grasp. So you need to be a bit careful. We have 3 Meathook Massacres, so there is a lot of ways to heal. We can also destroy enemy Meathook Massacre with Invoke Despair and also Culling Ritual. And Culling Ritual, I think, is one of the biggest things in the deck. Like, I really love the card. Not only it sweeps everything, including like Kumano that didn't transform into creature yet, like even Meathook Massacres, it's a non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less. And the fact that you can very often get between 3 and 5 mana, like imagine casting this and on top of this just casting Invoke Despair or Binding or whatever. Like, this is insane value that you get. And if you can get Stomper and Underdog in some like perfect scenario, the priority is completely on your side on the board. You ramp even one Stomper. I have found that when you cast Culling and Stomper, it completely changes the game, and very often you start being aggressive because you are probably around like 6 or 7 lands already. So that's a big deal. And for this reason, I really like Golgari. I think the deck is amazing. It's definitely competitive. It's probably not the best deck around, but definitely you can go to Mythic with this one if you play it right. And I think it's one of the most fun decks. I honestly wanted to play Golgari today because I just felt that, this need to play Meathook Massacres for a lot of mana and play Stompers and Invoke Despairs because it's just fun. And Harness Infinity, I feel that in a longer game is just this one piece of puzzle that makes the game go, oh yeah, that was fun. So definitely you can try this one. If you don't have it, you can just switch it for something else. It's not the biggest deal. You usually kill with Invoke Despairs, but I think it's a nice addition to have different way than the enemy expects, because they always expect Shigeki and very often you will have it revealed in your hand and they know exactly what the play is. With Harness Infinity, they never expect it. So this is my take on the deck. Definitely try it if you like Golgari or control decks. This is one of the most fun decks for me. So definitely, oh boy. I guess it means the intro is too long. So definitely try this one, and as always, subscribe if you like the channel, if you like the decks, and we will have a deck every single day forever. So why not subscribe and get some of them? And also really honestly, thank you for everyone sticking to the channel and all the comments and all the support, guys. Like, it really matters a lot to me, so thank you for that. And with that being said, let's go into the fun games, because I think they were pretty awesome today. Alright, that seems pretty decent. Yeah, that's actually amazing though. Okay. And welcome Japan. Ah, the education paid off. All those years, finally, for YouTube. Alright, so basically we are of course starting with this one, then we go into underdog, then we ramp with the stomper and hope we draw something that is we actually don't need a swamp, we just need any kind of land, and I think we need untapped one, right? And then we want to cast Invoke Despair. Like, if we can do everything, all of those things on curve, I think we should win. So let's start and see if that's enough. I kinda like those sleeves, but it should be slime ones. Why aren't they slimy? I cannot understand. Interesting. Grixis control, maybe? Definitely seems like it. So as a rule, you want to attack and not give any information. We definitely need a lamp next turn. So I'm getting a little scared. This is swamp because we want to hit for black. Otherwise we might not hit it. God bless you. Alright, so we attack first and see what the reaction is. Not perfect. I don't want Tibalt as much, and I can wait if that's the case. You know what? Let's try it. I'm pretty sure it will get countered, but we have two, so we will be careful with the next one. At least he needs to pressure. Yeah, exactly. So we need to protect the other Invoke Despair somehow. 2 mana. He might have another one. Oh boy, this is a bit hard. Okay, thank you. I actually was seriously considering killing my own Tenacious Underdog just to draw some cards. And given the situation is like this, oh boy. He cannot counter. Wow, we still missed a land. Man, it's between getting flooded and mana screwed every single game. I'm glad we went into 5 at least. That's really good enough. Tenacious Underdog is good. Celestus is not great, but it lets us ramp and put 2 threats in 1 turn, and that's pretty huge. He might counter it. If he knows our situation, this would probably be a good call, to be honest. Let's go for Forest. Like, we have definitely enough of black mana right now. We need one more land. Evelyn, okay. Like, we have ways to get rid of it. Shigeki. He cannot use channel. And if it gets back to the hand, it's still ours, right? Honestly, I think we are in an extremely good situation. Let's start with this one. I want to see if it goes through. Do we have something to get back from the graveyard? Like, I guess an underdog, but we get it back anyway. I just want to save mana. Alright, let's see if it goes through. That's pretty important. Oh boy. And important play. It might not seem obvious, but enemy doesn't know that we drew a land. So right now he's playing hoping that maybe we cannot attack. Aha! Haha! Lethal! Out of nowhere. Now we need to kill both. Yeah, sure. And I of course made a mistake. I'm pretty sure you guys know which one. I just got overly excited and I will still do it. Just, you know, missing 3 damage in the process. Some of good player plays. So basically it's 4 mana, draw a card. That was pretty awful by me. But it's probably not as relevant and I think we still win. With double meathook, at some point we will drain this 4 mana for life. Yeah, and he needs to pay a lot for this stuff. We actually kill him right now. So, first, meathook. This needs to be the first one. If you cast it while Tenacious Underdog is in the board, of course he just kills it in response and you don't get the life. You know what's happening. And if enemy tries to target our poor, decent underdog, yeah, we cannot. We play the land. If enemy tries to do it, we just kill it ourselves, and it's still in the graveyard. So basically, enemy will die. That is a good game. Nice one. Nice one. Definitely a big misplay from my side, but the deck is so good that it didn't matter. Yay, soon mythic. Alright, so this is one of those hands. To be perfectly honest, I don't like it. We cannot go into 4 mana with the underdog. We cannot ensure that we hit the ramp. What is the chance that we miss the land twice? I will take it. But I think it should be mulligan. I would probably do better with the mulligan. But there is a chance we don't get mana screwed, you know, like 1%, and then it's perfect. Okay, maybe not perfect, but if we are playing against creature deck and we hit lands from the top as every game, then it's amazing. But yeah, definitely on the bad side right now. This was March, by the way. That's why they hesitated, because they need to exile cards. And of course, we got mana screwed. What happens after you get flooded in one of the games? You definitely get mana screwed on the other one. And this is why I generally am scared to keep 2 land hands, because it keeps happening like nearly every time. Also, okay, it might be me, and it's not like, you know, I'm sure of it, but I found that very often when you play any kind of aggro decks, any kind of aggro decks, and you draw 4 lands at the start and you have like 3 value cards, you keep drawing lands. It has happened to me so many times, but I'm probably biased. It's just, you know, a fun fact. Maybe you can relate, maybe you don't. And honestly, we are a control channel, so we cannot relate. Oopsie. Yeah, like, amazing gameplay so far. I could prevent this, but I don't care. The game ended basically before it started. And as I mentioned, the mulligan is basically what we should have done. But the problem is, I'm not sure, like, bro. And this, so in 11 cards, 2 lands, instead of 40%, so like 5 or 4? 4 or 5, that would be no normal number, and we would hit 5 by now. This is pretty insane. Like, this is actually pretty insane. Mana screw. Games like this in Magic, oh, makes me question a lot of things. But jokes aside, I guess mulligan was the way to go. Of course, this is the wrong mana, just to be sure, you know, just to make 100% sure that I don't hit anything. But at least it's one way to go, right? At some point we will cast those spells, I guess. So we need to go for the value. Yay, that's a second green. Amazing. Insane. And other words. Yep, we had ramp in this hand. You know, ramp, so we can hit lands before our opponent. Not sure how that worked out for us. Alright, but you know what? We are getting there. Like, we are slowly pressuring enemy. I'm not conceding yet, because we didn't face aggressive decks, so it means that if he didn't kill us, like, I guess in the end it balances out, like, we will draw lands someday. So maybe then we can go with the value, I hope. 4 mana, and the counter spell is on the way still. You know what? I'm just going underdog. Smirk. You know what? At this rate we might even win. It's kinda insane that we even have this chance after basically missing like 3 turns, but sure, I'll take it. And as you can see, our value engines, even without Invoke Disperse, are pretty insane. Stomper is 2 for 1 basically always. if you can survive until, 7 lands at least. And even if you don't, as you can see, enemy just usually removes it because it's a big threat. Like 4/4 is no joke, especially with Vigilance, because it can put clock on the enemy while still being, defender that you all like and love. Other creatures cannot pressure enemy if you want to go for the counters, whatever, for the defense, right? Okay. Not sure what the other mode was. Did he gain life? I guess he did, right? We activated underdog only once, I guess. Boseiju will be important in this game. We have red from the Proving Grounds. Do we go for Despair? No, I think we try to do damage this way. And let's see what the enemy will think of. If he activate, I want him to activate the hole, because he sees... yeah, we can respond. He sees that we have not enough mana to pay the ward, so normally he's like basically guaranteed that no removal will answer what he has. The problem is that our removal is not a spell that targets a creature, it's a spell that targets a land. So we can circumvent the ward basically. And that might be really tempting. We are on 14. One hit makes us vulnerable for the rest of the game. He did not go for it, unfortunately. I really don't want to kill the whore right now, because we basically ramp him into counterspell, and that's kinda awful. Shield counter. What about Infernal Grasp, my friend? So he will get the Rhino, that's still pretty good. But we can cast Invoke Despair, and that's really good as well, because we work around the whole shield thing. We cannot play Boseiju, it's too important of a card. Huh. Yeah, it's Invoke Despair. Enemy is tapped out, and that's a huge deal. It also lowers his HP by quite a lot. It gives us lands, so a lot of good things basically. How many green we have? 3 green. Yeah, we need more black. Celestus is really tempting, but it's probably the wrong play, right? We don't have legendaries. We need to be careful about the hole. Hole is scary. He doesn't have direct damage except the Wither Bloom command, but if he plays 4, theoretically he can just direct kill us, so we need to be careful a bit. Oh, okay. Like, I guess we can make it work for longer. Problem is that he now has mana to respond, and that's a big deal. I'm not doing anything because I want him to choose. Maybe he will... Yeah, he has chosen differently now. And that's pretty important stuff. I don't have sweepers, so I don't want to ramp him main phase. He could cast maybe another one if he has 5 mana. So let's ramp him at the end step. It hurts a bit. Oh, I don't think we can just not use it. It's just too good. So we use binding here. Yeah, it just gives us more time as well. I hate to ramp him. That's really important for any kind of like this deck. They have instants. Quite a lot of them in fact. But you do what you have to do, right? Maybe they don't have basics, who knows. But one basic is standard, so I'm pretty sure they have at least one. Swamp. Yeah, probably. Alright. So, let's start with this one. This is the scare one. And if they counter it, we have enough mana to, do other stuff. Okay, they let it through, that's interesting. I did not really expect it. I think they have counter spells still. Binding is amazing. Basically they both do the same thing, like remove the creature, right? It's better to exile Titan, in a way, because of the resurrection spells. But most likely I just want binding, because binding is extra land and soul transfer is not. I guess at some point we can of course get the better value, but we are far from this, I feel. Lair is pretty decent. Alright, how many cards? 1, 2, 3. We have 8. I usually click it very fast just to make sure that the enemy doesn't really see what we are intending to do. And if he doesn't do anything, he probably plays something at that step, right? I don't see pressuring him as a win condition. I think that's a bad call. If he doesn't do anything, we have better plays because we can basically draw 3 cards at the end step. And as you can see, he didn't do anything in the end. I thought he had Tainted Indulgence in hand. That would make sense for me, but he didn't. Memory Deluge is also an option, but probably not exactly what he wants to run in the deck. So 3, right? Invoke Despair seems like a decent thing. To be honest, Topiary Stomper is also pretty good. It ramps us, it helps us, it protects, it does everything. Yeah, I really like the ramp, as you can see. He didn't have counter spells so far. Let's see. Oh, that went smoothly. Can we kill him? Not yet. But you know what we can do? Oh boy, oh, I'm so excited for this play. Enemy has no counter spells and no instants, it seems. I don't know how, but that's the case. And this is lethal next turn, so it means he needs to react at the end step or during his turn, and that's pretty awesome. If he really doesn't have instants, like, I guess it was stop, right? Yeah, so he has something, but he needs to pay... What? What is this deck? Like, he needs to pay a lot of mana to remove 8/18 stats, and still we just double cast Invoke Despair and kill him, and we have the Lair. So I'm pretty sure he will die this turn. Whatever he does, it won't be just enough. I guess March is the best one? Like, my friend, you need to go defensive. We could also go for underdog, but it's easier to find removal than counter spell. And each one of Invoke Despair kills him, so that is a good game, I think. Unless he has Test of Talents, which would be insane, but I think he's just dead. Sir Morte, are you dead? Can you explode to just confirm my assumption on this game? Oh, but yeah, you can touch the Stomper if that helps you. Sure? Okay, next idea, please. Resolve. Smark. That was fulfilling. Can you imagine? Was this the same game when we had no lands? I think that was the same game, right? It felt pretty differently in the end, right? And yeah, against slower decks, when you get mana screwed, it hurts, but sometimes you can get through, but it's definitely not good. Alright, this is nice. So we start, we have good Invoke Despair start, and we definitely play the Tapland, because we are not cycling this one, as we need at least 5 mana, and basically we can keep playing cards for the rest of the game. Underdog is really important here. Enemy might have White March. This will be a problem. I'm not sure if we are playing against some kind of aggro deck or like a full-blown control. Okay, now we know. Interesting start. It's so tempting to go for Shigeki. But is this the right choice? Next turn, Curve is Kaito or Rafin. I think this is correct decision. Enemy is tapped out, so whatever he does, we will mess his next turn. And the 3 mana play is important for this kind of deck, so they definitely don't want to waste it. But Shigeki is scary enough, yeah, and with double Invoke Despair we can draw into more Shigekis. You know, it's still not perfect, but at least we can threaten Invoke Despair after he plays Shizuki. Kaito. I think it's either this or Rafin. Okay, you know what? I'll take it. Yeah. Yeah, we definitely do it. This is the best turn. We don't get the full value, but we still trade, you know, for this card, we draw a card, and we get rid of all his stuff, so, you know, he cannot... Oh, thank you, Ritual. Thank you for this. I would probably play differently now, if I knew that is the top card. But you know what? It's still fine. I do like the land, but it's probably not the most important part. How many Vanishing Verses can you have, my friend? Okay. Not this one. Attack. Emperor? Okay, of course it's Emperor. Man, they have more exile than removal. But it's still okay.
I am almost sad to see you go.
So he will plus. So we won't invoke the spell next turn. I don't think we have too much value right now, you know? I think the gap might be the value that we need to close the game at some point. I love having lands, but having only lands won't help. Null Priest of Oblivion. Interesting one, definitely. Pretty good play, not gonna lie. Celestus. Like, we could just kill the Emperor, right? We lack mana. The greed from Sloth is a real deal. Enemy has open 3 mana. That's not... I don't think it's a coincidence. I think he has a counter spell. For this reason, I think we go for the Emperor, because this will get countered most likely. If he cares about the Emperor, of course. Because he might have the counter spell and still not use it. Oh, the greed. I will play it now. It seems inconsistent with my previous play, but hear me out, hear me out. We do have Celestus. And Celestus is great at fixing your card draws. Ah? So he had it. Okay, good. 1 counter spell down. It's basically the same as casting Invoke Despair. He would Jewelry this one instead. And we have Culling Ritual, so this won't kill us. Oh, that's so good. He did it main phase. Is this negate? That's so sus. It definitely feels like a counter spell for 2 mana, doesn't it? It might be Jewelry. So I think we still need to do it. If he has it, that's great for him. He already had a really good draw, and if he doesn't, we get so ahead. Okay, maybe not so ahead with this draw, but it's a lot of value. Okay, that's actually pretty good. I'm so tempted to just give him the tokens for the Culling Ritual, but this is not the correct play. The correct play is Celestus into Binding. Because this basically, like, you know, lays out all the pieces one after another, and there's no greater pieces than the other one. So it's like he wants to counter Celestus, wants to counter the Binding. Nothing is, you know, Invoke Despair is the prime target. This is something he wants to counter. Like, he will counter it if he can, always. I'm not even talking about Test of Talents, which is devastating. Yeah, you don't want to get Test of Talent at... Oh, look, we get to draw a card. That seems sweet. You know what? I'm taking it. Oh, nice. Thank you. Thank you. And we are starting to ramp slowly, and that's pretty sweet. And now we need to think. Every card in our hand is actually the same as, you know, some other card from the deck. We cannot cast 2 spells in 1 turn. We could cycle both runs though, if we care. But you know what? How much mana will we have? 1? They might play Make Disappear or something, so let's go for this. With Celestus you are happy. Oh, I forgot I have Celestus. I'm such a bad player. Okay, dig up is pretty good one. Okay, I messed up this turn. That wasn't great play. So I shouldn't play the land if I had make disappear mana. That was the only reason I did it, to not get countered. Or double to worry it, I guess, but that's not scary. Oh, if that's your play, oh my god. You are in for a bad time, my friend. And he tapped out completely. That's so good for us. Okay, now we need to check our mana reserves. 9. So we can... 9. Oh, that's pretty sweet. I wanted Tibalt. We won't be able to, unfortunately. Sorry guys, I really wanted. Alright, and we are going for the funsies. Tenacious Underdog would also be pretty nice. But this is just such a good card here. We also switch, right? Because that was double spell. And as you can see, we definitely need it. And this is why I like Celestus, because I'm flooding, like, I think we have only 25 lands, but we are flooding like crazy. I don't know how it's possible even. To be fair, we don't need more red. And this is why I really like Celestus in every deck, because it fixes my amazing top decks that I, for some reason, keep getting all the time. And when you fix all your draws, your deck starts to shine again. Sorin is of course an issue, but he trades it card for card. Yeah, Raffine comes. But Raffine is good target for the Grasp. Yeah, overall I'm pretty happy. Like, this is what we are this is what we want to do basically. And enemy is not having counter spells, and that's basically the only thing that keeps him in the game. How many cards they have? The usual is Island, I think, right? Maybe not, maybe they have a lot of Orzhov cards. Maybe this is their only basic. I'm honest. Oh my god, did I just miss Leafar? I kinda did. Yeah, so Sloth, you're just so amazing player. So it's 5. Now we cannot kill him. I'm pretty sure he has removal though. Like, he has something in the hand. It's not counter spells, so it's 5. Yeah, we can go for 5. That's not great. I think we just go for Shigeki. That's good enough. We might go for Boseiju, but this is actually something you need to be careful. Esper decks can definitely use any amount of mana at instant speed. Okay, that's fine. We won't even pay the ward, right? And I want to use this right now, I guess. 2 cards is enough. Double invoke. Oh my god, I'm so greedy. No, Sloth. Be a responsible player. This is enough to win the game. Don't overdo it. And we still have Harness Infinity, so whatever happens, we can still get it. This is uncounterable, by the way. He could exile cards from the graveyard, but not at instant speed, I believe. Yeah, so he knows that he cannot do anything about it. And that's why it was responsible choice. It was good enough to win the game. It's not the epic play that you want, like for Invoke the Spurs, but as you can see, we didn't even need to cast 1. He just left because he knows he's outvalued, sorry. Alright, we are playing first with amazing ramp and nothing more. But I'm pretty sure we are bound to draw something at some point in this game. So for this reason, Stomper is not bad. We will also have all the mana available. We will ramp into Invoke the Spell. Like, Invoke the Spell is basically our target, or just something that can find it. And you know what? I'm happy with the draw. That's pretty amazing, actually. Enemy can kill it, but that's fine. Of course the exile. Oh my god. Like, I was thinking, what is the chance they actually have this removal? And I thought, it's not there. Silly me. It's still fine. Like, we will ramp like crazy, but we need to draw good cards. We definitely have a lot of those cards in the deck. So our top draws are Dig Up and Invoke Despair. Those are the ones we really want. For this reason, we also go for the black mana. Because why not? This was actually like such a big deal. It's insane, because that was the only value we had so far in the deck. It seems. And you know what? The draw is so amazing, we are just going with the Hive. Smirk. Enemy can kill us. I see. You know what? At this point I do not care. We don't have anything else to do with the mana. It hurts. It of course hurts, but not doing anything is definitely not the way to win this game. And attacking with the Stomper is not the biggest deal. At least we get rid of one of the cards, right? Oh boy. So basically we have full mana hand and nothing else. And enemy had perfect response for the underdog. That's actually the... Is this the only card that answers it in the red? I kind of think it does. I guess Kumano also, but it's a different deck, right? All of the other effects don't exile, so they don't matter as much. And I guess we get gold spun right now, right? It has to be gold spun. If he discarded one, it means he has more. Yeah. Alright. You know what? I feel that we have way too much value in the hand. Enemy is tapped out, but he will have mana for Golgari, so let's just make sure we... Oh, we need to tap. Or rather, discard. This way we can pay for Golgari if that was his protection. If he has negate, we lose the game. Because that's how magic works right now. We had this discussion previously, let's not go there, and I didn't draw any... Let's just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in 13 cards, we had 5 cards that were on lands. Wow, that's amazing, Magic. Thank you for this. Alright, I guess we'll just keep attacking him, because I guess why not. Fading Hope. Blessed Bolt is also important, but you know, it doesn't extremely matter. I guess they can have Red Invoke or something like this, but they probably don't, right? The All-Seeing Arbiter. Played before our second card for the deck. That seems legit. Okay, I guess. Oh, that's a Shigeki. Finally, a card that actually does make a difference. We have one card in the hand, unfortunately. And the turn we activated the Stomper, it doesn't do anything. Sweet. Like, we can keep attacking him, but honestly, how good it is. Man, this is just so awful. Like, this is the worst draw you can possibly get with this deck. Like, we didn't draw anything for the full game. Not a single Invoke Despair in 1/4 of the deck. Oh boy, we are in for the ride. So basically we need to get the thingy from the graveyard, then kill the All-Seeing Arbiter, and then pray that we top deck faster than the enemy, which seems impossible at this rate. Like, he's discarding value, that's how good his draw is. And we are trying to get any of the value, right? Yeah, I'm not exiling the last value card from my hand just to kill this. But yeah, enemy has basically everything as he wanted, and we have nothing as we wanted, so definitely a rough start for the deck. And we cannot even get more than one card, because we never got anything from the full deck, right? Let's get the only card we played this game, basically. The Shigeki value. We could go get 2 more cards next turn if we had stuff. Yeah, I think we still don't have enough lands. That was a great draw. Thank you, deck. I'm so thankful. Alright, so we will kill this during the enemy attack. This way, if he wants to play Goldspan, he needs to do it before. Big score. No. And you know what? Given we aren't doing anything in this game, let's just go for the maximum, which is 7. Because we cannot do anything anyway. So let's at least heal a lot so we have more time. Because our top decks are the most awful ones I have ever seen. So we need like 5 to 10 turns to finally draw something maybe. Like all we need is like chain invokes from the top and we win the game. We have basically... Oh yeah, I think I didn't have enough lands. Thank you, game. Oh my god, what is this crap? We are not activating the Hive because enemy has open mana and he definitely wants to do bad things to our lands. A Hullbreaker Horror. Yeah, sure, why not? We cannot deal with it. We did not draw cards this game. Great, amazing Magic experience, definitely.